What's going on, you gorgeous bastards out there? Glad you made it. It's another social production. We're doing it on 5th month of the year. That is May the 1st, 2023. Thank you very much for joining me today and joining us, the crew, the gang, the syndicate, the familia, all around the world, here from Toronto, Canada, wherever you are, whether you're in the US, South in Mexico, further down south in South America, all the way down to wherever the tip, like where the tip is. I think it's like Peru or something. I'm not quite sure. Chile, South America, skipping over, we're flying over the old Atlantic Ocean, I believe it is. Oh, we're getting into Africas, we're getting into Europe, Asia, New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Caribbean islands, wherever, Antarctica, wherever you are. I hope you're doing well. I've had a great, fantastic weekend personally. Thank you again. Where can you find these videos? You're asking. I'm glad you asked. It's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 times a week is when it drops. And where can you find it? You follow me on Instagram if you like these videos. You subscribe on to get the full-length videos on YouTube. That's where the full-length videos are, because I gotta chops it up when I puts it on the Instagrams. And then check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally support the show. Give us a little bit of a boost. See us grow right before you. If you like things to grow, do you enjoy growth? Well, that's where it's done, and then we do it together. And I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Thank you again. Whether you're a long time viewer and listener, and it's not such a long time, we're relatively, we're new in this whole thing. But if you've been with me from the get-go, thank you for all the love and support. And if you just joined us today, like always, buckle up, buckle down, because we just shoot from the hip and we just have some fun. Right there, baby. Oh, what happens when things are not so organized? What happens when you don't have an agenda? What happens when you don't have anybody telling you to speak about something and not speak about it? That's when you get independence, baby. That's when you get that freedom. That's when you get that Do you like freedom? Do you like independence? Do you like the combination of both? Because that's where this is what this is, baby. Just people being free and independent, talking, chit-chatting amongst each other, amongst themselves, together with family members, with friends. Who can you bring along? Everybody. This show is it's suitable for everyone, ultimately, at one point or another. And enjoy other shows as well out there. But if you need an hour, if you need 45 minutes to an hour 3 times a week just to be like, yo, I need my mind taken off a little some, but also it'd be nice to discuss a little, because after all, man, we're serious adults, man. At one point or you need to can't be Peter Panning around here all day every day. But that's what it is, baby. We Peter Pan that shit all day every day. Never grow up, but very slowly. Really try to slow that shit down. Reverse aging and all that shit. I some people attack it from can we stop growing from a biological stance? This guy right here is up in here, man. I'm forget the biology, dude. Let's chill up here, ladies and gents. Let's keep our hearts young, because that's what's important, I believe. Anywho, anywhere, anytime, any place. I hope everybody's having fun. I had a fantastic weekend, great weekend. Just looking forward to everything that's going to be unraveling in the next 9 weeks. As you guys are now in the know, we are moving, we are packing, I got to get rid of a whole bunch of stuff in this room. I've just been, thinking about everything. It's so exciting. I'm just so excited to, start a new chapter, flip a new page, write a new thing down in the new chapter of the book that is life of my life. And then everybody has their own books and chapters, and that's what we're flipping, baby. We're flipping. A lot of exciting things are happening also. Let's get right into it. Let's have some fun. What happened over this past weekend? What happened that was exciting, that was exhilarating? Let me ask you a question, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Are you the type of fella or lady who's I'm tired of having straight teeth? I'm tired of having straight teeth. Fuck straight teeth, dude. I don't want straight teeth. I don't want to be known for my pearly whites. I don't want to be walking into a room and then people see a shine and a glimmer and a twinkle in the corner of my eye, and then I go ahead and smile and just dazzle them with that pearly white that God's blessed me with. You're tired of that shit. You're you know what? That's so 1999 to 2020, let's say. Moving 2024, and right now we're in 2023, almost halfway through the year, going into the future, which is 2024. That's because this is where we are right now. That's where the future, you're yeah, man, I'm tired of just having straight teeth. Straight teeth, you see a fella or a lady with straight teeth, it oozes, a different sort of confidence. It oozes a different sort of aura. It signifies a certain type of maybe perhaps upbringing, maybe a little bit of good genes. Oh, look at me with my pearly whites. They're all straight. Good genes. Mommy and daddy were of a good crop, you can say, by just not even saying really smile. But you're like, I'm tired. I want to pave my own path. I want to go down a path that is perhaps a little bit crooked, perhaps a little bit sharp, perhaps a little bit chipped. You want chipped teeth is essentially what I'm asking. You want to chip your tooth, son? You want to lose a tooth so you can go out there in the world, smile, and be like, oh, that handsome young man or woman is still got that twinkle in their eye, but is perhaps, missing a portion of a tooth, or maybe the whole tooth, or a couple of teeth. Where can you get that assistance? Nowhere else has your concerns been focused on like this place. Nowhere else pays attention to your little desires, your little wishes, because you're like, yeah, man, I want to go out on the streets and make a statement. Let people know what I'm about, that you're about it. But sometimes it's like, you don't want to officially say you're about it. You want to just kind of like subliminally put a message out there that you're about it, and nothing puts out a subliminal message that you're about it, like a chipped tooth, son. Where can you acquire that chipped tooth? You're like, oh, I don't have any money. I don't know any people. I don't have any connects to get a chipped tooth. Make an appointment. Oh, make an appointment with Dr. What? Dr. What? Mike Platinum Perry, that's who, son? You want to get chipped teeth, son? You make an appointment with Dr. Platinum Perry. Right there, Mike Perry. Holy smokes, dude. Saw the fight on the YouTubes. Thank you very much. I'm talking Mike Platinum Perry versus Luke Rockhold. It came to a stoppage. It came to a haltage. It came to a, whoa, skirt. Let's put a break on this fight. I want to just have to go and step outside for a minute because I think I'm missing a tooth. Shout out to everybody. Obviously, these are not realms that I'd thrive in, personally speaking, but it's just nice to see it done at, oh man, every time you see I love the MMAs. I love mixed martial arts. I love boxing. I don't know much about any of them. Visually, though, when I see a good fight, whether it's bare knuckle boxing, as was the case this past weekend with, once again, Platinum Mike versus Luke Rockhold. Once you see them bare knuckles out on the streets and the cage of the street, and the cage is not it's not a street, but it evolved from the streets. That's why I know streets. So when I see something that's street, I'm like, I knows it. Somewhat, give or take, mostly give, really little take, but nonetheless, it's a relationship, and I sees it and I identifies it. I'm like, oh man, these are two gentlemen in their prime, just going bare knuckle together. And what's bare knuckle? Bare knuckle is essentially fighting in the nude, with your hands are nude, your hands are naked. Because a lot of times people are like, let me put on that boxing glove, let me put on that MMA glove, and then you start getting technical with the ounce. How many ounces you fight? You fam 2, 3? I don't even know the sizes. Why are they called ounces when it comes to gloves, by the way? Which is it's like, are we drinking or are we fighting? Am I pouring out shots? Are these gloves to be soaked in vodka, liqueur of sorts? I don't know. 4-ounce gloves or versus 6-pound or 6-ounce gloves, or how does it work? I don't know. I'm not good with measurements. I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with many of things. But what I am good at is identifying nude knuckle fighting is essentially what it should. Bare knuckle. That's what it is. Dangerous. Because it's like, it's less leeway. There's less forgiving. There's no forgiving in bare knuckle boxing, son. You want to be forgiven? Don't come in this ring, place, setting. Don't come looking for that smoke. If you can't handle the smoke and you're not a fan of smoke and the fire and the heat and the temperature and the condensation from the heat and the temperature. Oh, we're sweating now. We're sweating, baby. It's sweating time is what it is. So bare knuckle boxing, I watched that. I'm coming to learn about it. I've heard about it. I've talked about it before on my own terms of how I'd, in a fantasy world would have loved to have been able to do something like that. But this is realities, but also what is realities, if not just whatever we make of it to be. So that's what it is. Obviously, like there's visually love to be in it. Physically, I don't want to feel it. You know what I mean? I'd go through it, but I don't want to feel it. That's where I'm at. So that's like, I guess that's where video games comes in, but I'm not even a fan of video games much. So visually watching is just satisfying enough just to see two men be like, whoa, whoa, pa, pa, pa. And all of a sudden you see a tooth go flying in midair and somebody's like, you know what, we're fighting here, but let's just, let's just pause it right here. I think that is a wrap. Let's just pause it right here. That's a wrap for tonight. Okay, once you go missing body parts, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. And again, this is with all much, love and respect for, because it can happen to the best of us, best of you guys and gals, us, you, me, to get you mostly, not so much me, and not most of the people, but together collectively we are one, right? So it's just like when you see body parts breaking, whether it's limbs, shins, elbows, knees, tibulas, friggin' a toenail. Oh man, nothing cramps your style more than a ingrown toenail, because you went and did a high kick, high flying reverse kick, and all of a sudden you caught your toe on the guy's, ribs. And it's like, oh, the pain afterward. We've been there, we've all been there. Typical, life of a fighter. Life of a fighter. But the point is, I saw that, it was exciting. And then at the end of the fight, if I'm not mistaken, Conor McGregor was at ringside. He came into the ring. They did a face-off where they exchanged faces. Or they exchanged words, but their faces were off. No, their faces were on. But regardless, words were exchanged. Do not fixate on the fact, you're asked, were they exchanging, swapping faces? Were they going Mr. and also Mr. Potato Head with each other? Just, oh, here, got your nose, McGregor, got your nose, Platinum Mike. Did they do a nose swap? Did they do an ear exchange? Did they, oh, where's your ear now, son? Classic, but they did a face-off, and it was just nice, showing each other respect, showing each other admiration, love, but also beneath that love and admiration, there's a deep sense of like, oh, let's do this. And by this, what do I mean by this? You know what it is? When two men have gotten to their, are there facing, not on, facing off. Yes, thank you very much. And it's like, oh, I'm good at my craft. I notice you two are good at what you do. Why don't we put these two bad boys in the cage and see what's up? In some sort of a situation where it's either MMA, boxing, or a bare knuckle, but I don't know, but let's make it happen, because just seeing them two together got me excited. Would I like to personally see McGregor versus Platinum Mike? Yes. Will I pay for it? Like, personally, yes. No, yes. If I had, the heart, like, I supports it. I supports it big time. I'd be down to, like, legit, and I will one day, on a good day, like, so let's not even like fixate on how things are. Let's not the main important thing is that, do we want to see a fight? Do you want to see these two gentlemen go out there and put up them gloves, or just bare knuckles and go chin to chin, face to face, knee to knee, rib to rib, ear to ear, head to head, an ultimate challenge of who has the most power packed in a punch? Because these two, I've been watching a little bit, I'm not too, like, I don't know any, like, technicalities, I don't know any, like, formalities, I don't know any, like, practicalities, I don't know any, like, theoretical work, I don't know much about these. I'm just a fan. Visually, it's pleasing to watch too, like, because it's just like, the movement is kind of like a fast-paced dance, but dancing with consequences, son, and nothing excites your boy more than a dance with a consequence. That's actually a newfound knowledge. I didn't know that about myself. I just said that out loud. I guess I really enjoy a dance with a consequence. Because all the other dances are like, oh, the most dangerous dance in the world. What is it? The merengue, the mamba, the flamingo, all the tango, the merengue, whatever it is, dangerous. But are they? Are they? Don't see any missing body parts in dances. So let us make that fight happen. And again, once again, by us, I mean the boys and the organizers and the whatever goes into it, which is a whole big old thing. That's like it's like a business. That's a machine it's a corp. It's a lot of it's a spinning wheels and gears that I particularly have no idea about. But again, would I like to see it happen? Yes. And once again, you're like working, well, how do I benefit from this? Once again, are you tired of just like walking around not being able to whistle while you'll talk because you got perfect pearly whites? Well, guess what? Make an appointment with Dr. Platinum Perry, chip one of your teeth, walk around, talk, and whistle simultaneously. Think about that. Want to impress your lady by opening a can of peaches using your teeth, but can't because you got stupid, regular, straight teeth? Your parents cared for you and gave you, like, you know, braces and stuff. Oh, look at my braces. I'm so loved. That's fine. The point is, you're like, I want to impress this lady, and she's easily impressed if I open cans of peaches using a sharp tooth, but I can't because I don't have sharp teeth. Make that appointment, son, and just once that tooth is chipped, just take the can right there, right there, and then you just go to town like a little beaver with a chipped tooth. Open that can of peaches, and then be like, right there, for my princess, for my boo boo, for my darling. You know, that's love, baby. That's love. Because nobody else would do that for her. All she's been waiting for is just a man or a lady. I don't know what her deal is, or just like a butch lady. Just a fucking, you know what I'm talking about? Get in there. Make an appointment. So I like to see that, man. I like to see that. Whatever you're doing in and around this beautiful planet, the blue marble, man, we're floating. We're floating in midair, dudes. Ladies, gents, I'm having a great time. I'm doing, you know, really just enjoying the process, enjoying the whole journey is essentially what. Let me get a sip of this. Oh, beautiful coffee right there, ladies. Now, what else is going on in and around the world? I know one day we'll come in and we'll just be like talking extremely loose because that's what we are. We're loose. We're looser than, we're looser than a female octopus. We're looser than a giant Pacific octopus, a female who just happens to lay around 100,000 eggs. That's how loose we are, baby. This is right here. This is looseness at its best. And I'm fascinated by giant Pacific octopuses. They have 3 hearts. 3 hearts. These bad boys and bad gals have 3 hearts, which means, man, if you're out there with a single heart, if you're a human, and it beats, and it's just something in there, and you're going through your days, you're thinking about you, you're thinking about all the other people you are coming in contact with, family members, life events, and you got one heart, one soul, one spirit, one body. You just go, and you're feeling all that shit. Now multiply that by 3 hearts. God, that's so many feelings. So that's what it is, man. Giant Pacific octopi. Solitary animals, 8 tentacles, 2 rows of suction cups. Again, 3 hearts, 2 eyes, and it comes with a beak. Just, you didn't even know octopi have beaks. Huh? You didn't even know that shit, dude. I didn't know that. But now we do. Now we do. It's like right in the middle. It's like right in it's the mouth. It's like a little beak. It'll use its tentacles, bring in the foodsies, and then just, crack it open. Shellfish, lobster, small fish, medium-sized fish, what you want. And then every once in a while, it'll go off into the distance, mate. Because that's what they're solitary animals, unless it comes down to, getting that puss, dude, getting that octopus. You feel me? Same with the ladies. They want that dick, dude. They want that octopus, what's up, So it's like, and I get it, and I respect it. Living 3 to 5 years, growing anywhere between 14 to 16 feet, just roaming around. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Love to have a octopus pet, and I've said it before, man. If we were underwater, I think that's the numero uno contender for replacing man or woman's best friend, the land friend. The doggos, the underwater doggos would definitely, and honestly, if I had the opportunity to play catch with a dog versus a octopus, 8 hands, dude, you could be legit, you could be like the worst ball player and just fucking, it'll catch it, dude. 16 feet long, it's like, that's what I'm talking about. So let's start moving underwater little by little, just adjusting, and we'll have some fun with it. That's what it is. Baby boys, baby girls, ladies and gents. Why is it that, if you jizz out the region that you normally jizz from your crotchal region, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's happening now? But guess what we all do on a regular basis, fam? And I'm not here trying to defend jizz, although the premise does sound like I'm about to defend jizz, and I'm not. But I'm just saying, what do we all do in public? What do we all do on a regular basis in front of people? We blow our noses, that's right. And what is blowing our noses if not just an act of jizzing from your nose? Because it's like, whoa, what is that? White mucus coming out your nose, ugh. But also it's like socially acceptable. What's up with that? Is it the shape of the nose that makes it okay? What if the nose was in the shape of a penis or a vagina? Would that have made it? Is it the shape? No, I get why we don't, but I'm just saying the act of blowing one's nose in public is almost, it's not the same. I get it. There's nothing sexual about it, but it is like you're leaking from your face, dude. What's up? You know what I mean? What's up, man? That's a little sus. Blowing your nose. Weirdo. But also socially acceptable. But I'm just saying it is peculiar in some sense, you could say. What if there was a service? What if you were to go get a massage and nobody touches your ween or your vag, but you blow your nose? What is that? What is that? You just got excited because of the old Swedish, deep tissue Swedish massage, and then now you're oozing from your nose. What is that? If you can actually get your bodily mechanism to fucking oh, I'm getting a massage, but if you come through your nose, ladies, gents, that'll open up a whole new realm of possibilities of exciting things for us to do. I'm just saying, ladies and gents, it's a lot of things to consider. Now let us shift gears. Let us see where this goes, because this has been, I guess it's been happening for the past several weeks. I've not, and I don't know much about it, but it has come on the old, it's popping up here, it's popping up there, it's popping up everywhere. And people are, more or less, not so much, I guess, talking. You hear about, I hear about, what am I talking about? I've heard of, there's Sudan in Africa, and apparently they're going through some civil war, dude, or something. I don't know much about it, but there's factions, and there's militias, and there's the military, and then there's the paramilitary, and then there's warlords, and then there's guns, and then there's gunfire, and then there's death and destruction, and then and you're like, who's this brought to you by? Once again, brought to you by the usual suspects, the power structures that beat weapons manufacturing companies, the companies and manufacturers of goods and services revolving around natural resources, minerals, gold. You got some gold? Are we coming up for you? If you got the gold, and if you got other, you got gases. Are you gassy out there? You got oil, you got diamonds, you got other minerals that I don't even know how to pronounce. You got chromium. What even is that? Is that even a thing? Point is, it's been it's going down, and it's devastating. People are just I was reading a little bit into it. It's apparently Sudan is a country in Africa, roughly 45 million in terms of population. Roughly 1/3 of the population is well below the poverty line, and they're just being and who does war impact the most? The most people impacted by the most impacts of war are the vulnerable and the impoverished and marginalized. So that means poor men and women's and children's, essentially. The men's tend to get slaughtered, okay? And that's war. Because you need to get the resources, and everybody needs to get their beaks wet, baby. So beaks are getting wet globally. Global power beaks are getting wet right now. Trying to dip into that Sudanese mineral game, energy game, exchanging of fuel for gold and shit in large scales behind closed doors. driven across the border in night times, and it's men's with machine guns, heavy artillery, just guarding the goods and services that be. The point is, who gets impacted in a negative way? If you want to be like, oh, I'm a Debbie Downer, I only see things through the perspective of like, oh, why is the war so bad for the impoverished, marginalized, and vulnerable people out there? You know, turn lemons into lemonade, fam. Instead of like, instead of complaining about being, getting shot or something and like killed because you're poor and like marginalized and impoverished and vulnerable as a male, and like, that you could engage in the gold or the fuel or the mineral trading somehow. You know what I mean? Ladies out there, you're like, man, if I'm a lady or like a child, I'm probably gonna have to like, I'm gonna have to escape town or city, man. It's gonna be rough. That's like the end. And I'm probably gonna have to take refuge if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky, dude, I'll have to take refuge as a lady or a child. But most likely you'll be, a good portion of people like in that circumstance get involved in like trafficking, and not on the side that like benefits from it, the side that's like being trafficked. So like women and children get trafficked in like not just this particular war, really every war that this kind of stuff happens. And yeah, a lot of times we could like easily sit behind our whatever that we sit behind of and be like, man, what a bummer war. But like, again, have you thought about getting into weapons manufacturings, weapons dealings, big time mineral dealings? Again, there's a situation, and it just depends where you want to be and like how it. The thing is that it's cray, it's crazy town, but it happens. And it's like, man, this type of stuff really happens all around the world, all day, every day, doesn't it? And like, man, how do we stop it? I don't know if we can, but like, we can maybe lower it. And again, I don't know how to tackle this, but that's what it is right now. It's happening in Sudan, and it's been happening in many other places too. Libya, Syria, Iraq, you name it. There's so many places. You can name a ton of places. And I'm not highly educated on these topics, but it's just something that you do see. And then all of a sudden you'll read and then your mind will just be like, okay, well, that's just, that's God. Yeah, that's, but again, glass half full mentality. Like, if you are in that situation, try to like get in on his side. But like, I don't know which side to tell you. Do you get on the side that's being backed by the Chinese? Do you get on the side that's being backed by the Russians? Do you get on the side that's being backed? Like, yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough. I get it. And not to say that they're the only two sides involved. Like, there's so many sides. Again, powers with their tentacles going, wetting them beaks is what it is. So it's like, my heart goes out. And at the same rate, again, like if you're into trafficking though, like war is like really good for trafficking. So that's always like trying to remember the positives. Okay, if you're like, man, my family is, I don't have a family, but I'm like a trafficker of people, women's, children's, vulnerable men's, boys. That's what it is, dog. So it's like, it's there's a lot of stuff for you to do. You got your hands full, and that's crazy town. But that's essentially what's going on. But then simultaneously, I kind of in relation to this little topic, not so little, but like also it's like kind of related to it. I did read an article that was just like got me thinking about other stuff kind of related to this. This article was talking about a 65-year-old Brazilian businessman, and I forget his name right now, and that's not important. The important story is that this 65-year-old Brazilian businessman in Brazil married a 16-year-old, end of sentence, married a 16-year-old. And I read that. And this guy's he's a Brazilian businessman. He does business in Brazil. He's into politics. He's now maybe had to like step down from certain positions, but still got a lot of influence, a lot of power. And I'm just like, it got me to think like we have a lot of similarities all around the world. People have a lot of similarities. We do have our differences too, depending on like, oh, we're a little bit north. We deal with these, circumstances regarding, you know, temperature and like topography here is different, so we like build our life a little bit different than, let's say, somebody who lives, oh, we're, you know, you're in the wherever, it's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit more tropical. So there's these like, you know, topographical, or like, you know, some might want to put a cultural label on it, be like, yeah, that's a cultural thing, that's, you know, that. And it's just, yeah, it's just, it got me to think. I'm like, what is the age of consent globally for like marriage? And apparently there isn't one. Like, we've not had like the, and again, there's so many things that we could be disagreeing on, but like at one point or another, we gotta start like on like agreeing on something, so that we could be like, yo, globally as a species, like it's 2020, we're going into 2024, like in order to be like, let's set like, and that's little by little, we fix one little thing right here, and next thing you know, there's like 10 other things to be fixed, so we could like start moving forward with like fixing, because I like fixing stuff. God, from the moment that I get up, I'm either thinking like, how do you put yourself in a street fighting position, or how do you fix stuff? And most often I opt with fixing stuff rather than street fighting, even though they're very close. In my mind, they're very close. So I'm like, man, we don't have a global age of consent. And it got me to think, I'm like, is it good to have and what do you guys and gals think out there? Should we have, like, I know, again, you don't want to, like, it's tricky, because like there's the issues of like, you know, let's talk about it, because I don't even know what the issues are. I'm just thinking in terms of like people getting married. I think there's like certain age, I think, is like, honestly, like, if you want to get married and engage in the, you know, whatever comes with marriage, or like, you know, whatever, I believe here in North America, I believe in Canada and the United States, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the age is 18, if I'm not mistaken. And then other places in the world have varying age ranges, and given different circumstances. So globally speaking, the range of age for marriage is ranging between 14 to 21, which is, you know, falling towards the 21 is making me feel a lot more comfortable than the ones that feel or fall rather closer to like 14, or sometimes even lower than that. So now we're talking about like, and 16, dude, what? But like, again, to me, again, like, I have my perspective, like, you know, growing up in Canada and Western culture, we have certain, like, you know, and not to say, this isn't about like, do you prefer Brazilian barbecue, or do you prefer, you know, a nice burger and fries combo? This isn't about, do you rather, you know, are you a salsa guy, or are you a rock and roll guy? This isn't about those kind of things. This is about, like, I guess, like, again, going out there and like, man, if we can fix the little things that lead to the bigger things, sort of, kind of, it'd be pretty neato. Because I'm just like 65-year-old and a 16-year-old, and my mind is just, but that's just me. I think it's mucho wrongo, because like, it's just way too much of a fucking gap, dude. 65, and like, even like, and that's what it, at least, like, there should be like 18 is like, okay, fine, like, if even then it's like, what are you doing there, fella? Like 65, 18 would still be sketch, still be weird. But if we are gonna have and that's the thing, it got me to think, I'm like, should we have some sort of a global consensus on age of consent? I don't like to have uniform, or like, you know, one size fits all types of like remedies for many of things. For many of things, I'm like, oh, you got to look at individual cases. You got to look at like, oh, how's the society? How are these groups of individuals? What are the cultures, subcultures, everything that's like, you know, bouncing around this particular region? You can't just go apply a whole bunch of rules that apply to one setting and place and expect it to work out exactly the same way it did in the original place, down to the next place. Does that make any sense? Sort of, kind of. I don't even know what I'm saying, dude. But what I'm saying is like 16 is a little bit like, whoa, what are you doing? And that's not even the worst of it. Again, in some cases, there are countries in the world that the age of consent is like 14, 15. That's, yo. And why did these two thoughts come into my mind simultaneously, in terms of like, well, I was reading the Sudanese civil war that's unraveling right now, and then it just like led me to think of all the other wars that are going on in and around the world, and potentially what we're all, we're doing our daily routines, whatever, which is beautiful, nice. We go out there and we get it and we have some fun. If you're in the city of Toronto, we just like in terms of hockey, we just slap some sticks, baby, and we went on to the next phase. And apparently there was a drought, a long drought, and the boys and the men's were thirsty. So when we won that game over the past weekend, that also happened. So shout out to the boys. So stuff like that happens, and you're like, yes, yes. I know nothing about hockey, but like, yes for the city, yes for the boys, yes for the men's, and also when it comes down to the ladies teams, like yes to the ladies teams as well, but they're not playing right now. This isn't about the ladies. For a second, it's not about the ladies. For one moment, please. But ultimately, it's things that are happening. Like yes, that's positive. That's amazeballs. That's great that we're pucking and we're slapping and we're winning. But at the same rate, like everything's connected. Because you're like, well, that's all the way over there, man. It doesn't impact me, man. It's all the way over there, dude. And it is all the way over there, man. It is all the way. It's so far. God, it couldn't be any further. If it was any further, it'd be like here. Because, like, go full circle. And that would essentially, the furthest spot is essentially you yourself. You're the furthest spot from you. Point is, mass exodus of populations leads to what? Refugees, migrants. And nobody likes dirty refugees and dirty migrants. Everybody likes nice migrants, nice refugees, but nobody likes dirty migrants and dirty refugees. You want them to be nice and like go through like, hopefully there's a system that you could like go through if you want to immigrate, so you can like immigrate, but you don't want like one or two maybe, but you don't want large populations of dirty, good people too, but like sometimes stuff comes in and then all of a sudden stuff goes out. What am I talking about? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying this is a problem globally speaking. There's just more war happening, and then you get massive influx of newcomers, and it's like, well, what's happening to Europe? And then you'll see videos up in like, you'll see videos of just like, clash of cultures, kind of, sort of, or like cultures like coming in together, because you see that coming in from like the Middle East, from sub-Saharan Africa or all of Africa. You see large populations migrating to parts of Europe, like UK, like Germany, like France, and sometimes there's these like, oh, what is going on here? Because if you want to be able to maintain some sort of an area or a country or a nation, and again, these are all conflicts of thought for me as well, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, one globe, one species. Yo, let's rid, but that, you can't rid yourself of the idea of nation states, because that would just take way too much time, and nobody's on board for that shit, because we got like minerals and shit to like pull in and like sell the oil and get the gold and do the dealings and so flags and borders and whatnot keep us. It's a whole thing. Well, I don't even know what I was saying, dude. I got excited about that one. It's just emotional. It's just a little bit emotional. It's a little bit like, because it hits home, but also it doesn't. It's just one of those circumstances where you see like people being like, oh man, upheavaled and moved around. And it's a lot of, and a lot of times during these processes, a lot of people happen to either get killed, or if you're a male, you either get like pulled into some sort of a militia or a faction, depending on wherever you are. If you're a lady or a child, you probably get, become a refugee, and that's the best case scenario if you can find refuge in a neighboring country or somewhere else for that matter. And sometimes there's a good portion of the population, women, vulnerable kids, which basically is all kids out there. So they get thrown into the world of trafficking, and that's crazy. And that's one of the things that doesn't really get talked about. Human trafficking, and especially like, and again, I read that same article in terms of like, oh, the 65-year-old marries a 16-year-old, and that's in Brazil, and and that's their laws. Apparently the laws allow that with, given the circumstances. I don't know how it works, but apparently like, it's not always at the 16 in Brazil, but apparently with like adult or parental approval or awareness of the situation, you can give permission for your 16-year-old kid to be married to a 65-year-old male for nothing other than, and it's not a monetary exchange at all. It's pure love, because after all, we know a 65-year-old male has got a ton in common with a 16-year-old female. 65-year-old man. 65. We all know that a 65-year-old male has a ton in common with a 16-year-old girl, and yeah, so these things, it's just like, should we, I don't want us to go around like talking like, oh, let's like, it's a lot to think about, dudes. I'm just saying, would you want to like, do you guys and gals out there think that there should be some sort of like, let's focus on the things we could agree in order to be able to like, at least protect a portion of the population that really has no way of protecting themselves. If we could somehow make sure that it's kind of uniform all across the board, globally speaking, so that children are not, easily accessed by particular individuals who are like, because you're 65 and you're a millionaire, goddammit, go seek a matchmaker. Go seek somebody who could set you up on a date that could, date appropriate in terms of like, that's in terms of like, because that's like, that is a weird one. And again, this is not to, and that 16 one is in Brazil, and a lot of other countries have it as 16, some countries have it as 15, some countries have it as 14, which is nuts, dude. Child brides are crazy. Like, no, the child brides are not crazy themselves. The act of pursuing a child bride is crazy. So those who go and pursue child brides are crazy. Child brides are children. They're not crazy. Those in pursuit of child brides, crazy. And that's a little bit some that so it's just like, god damn, dude. 65-year-old marries a 16-year-old. I mean, holy shit, dude. That is, that's something to think about. But also, again, in the meantime, if you're out there, like, if you're in, there's a lot of upheaval in and around the world that you could be taking advantage of, that you could make a, you could make a buck or two, Will you be able to fall asleep at night? If you're in that realm, I'm gonna say yes. You probably don't feel much. So it's like, how do we nip it in the bud? We talk about it, and then hopefully something gets done. And then if it doesn't, then it's back to business, or whatever. The point is that it's crazy that I saw that and I was just like, whoa, man, that's that is that's crazy town. But let's shift gears. Let us I wonder what you guys and gals think. Should we have ultimately, yes, this is what I'd like to know. Do you guys think we should have a global age of consent in order to protect the youngins out there? If that's of, the point is, let us change gears. Let me get a sip of this. Ultimately, I did watch Mike Perry and I did watch Luke Rockhold go at it, and it just put me in a mindset of like, once again, I don't want to actually do the fighting, but am I going to be held back from going out there and taking on a role in terms of like wanting to, do I want to essentially come, let's get down to it. Do I want to be in a street fighting scenario, like a fake one, not a real one, like a fake but a real fake one, a real fake fighting situation in the street fighting? It's called Street Fighters or Streets of Rage, and both of those were games, video games, and they've also been, I'm not quite sure if they were made movies based on the games, but there are titled movies out there by the Streets of Rage or Street Fighter. They're good names, goddammit, and I wanted to be a Street Fighter when I was a kid in a fantasy world. I wanted to wear, and I will, God, just a Street Fighter with like, just your pants, do we go with, do I go with a top, or do I go shirtless, or do I go like, I'm not as bulky as I used to be. I could go just shirtless, which would be like, okay, he's like, whatever, he's like, he's ready to go, he's hungry. But also like maybe a loose, maybe a loose tank top, maybe a crop top, maybe a wife beater tucked into my jeans, dude. And I'm a street fighter with the street fighter with the biggest heart, and the big heart, and even the big heart, and an even bigger piece. My fantasy, goddamn, it's my fantasy, okay? It's a bigger heart and an even bigger piece. There's two things he was known for: his big heart and his big piece. What was bigger, the heart or the piece? The heart. He had a street fighter with an irregular sized heart but it works for him. He's got a big heart, but it works for him. It doesn't hold him back. Oh, he'll have a talk with you before it goes down. But if it's gonna go down, oh man, you're about to get some. You're about to get weapons of choice. 80s aluminum garbage cans, dented preferably, so that I could just be like, you see the dent? That's where your head's gonna be, son. A gadoosh right there. A gadoosh side smash. A gadoosh just hurling a trash can at a raccoon dog. Oh, at a bunch of just rabid dogs on chains, dude. Chains on dogs. Dogs on chains. With people, aggressive people who are sporting mad spikes and studs on their faux leather outfits. And we're greasy, because we're a greasy type. Yeah. And then, some of them have, again, large mohawks. Some of them have gotten tattoos in their heads, dude, not even on their faces. It's just like, oh, where else can I tattoo? On my hair space. And where the hair is, there, that's where, because like sometimes I want a tattoo, but in a few days, I also want to be able to not see it. You know what I mean? Just like cover it up. I don't want to see that shit. Cover it up. That's the type of fellas that I'd be dealing with, or ladies that I'd be dealing with on it's Street Fighter, son. Street Fighter. He's sweaty. He's strong. Not too strong. Average level strength, but again, massive heart. Down to earth. And a big piece. And what even is the piece that we refer to? Is it his huge thing? Is it a huge, is it a piece that he carries with himself as like a weapon? Is it like a pistol? Is that what he's referring to? A big heart and an even bigger piece. Just one slender Street Fighter with the biggest piece. Oh, this piece is so big. This piece is the biggest piece. It's like the biggest gun, dude. It's like the barrel of the gun is like this big. How do I get it in and out of the? What would I even carry it in? Would I have a street fighting van, or perhaps a motorcycle? Or yeah, that's what it is. When I'm not drinking my beer, and working on my cars or on my motorcycles, and have the sun setting in the background with the American flag behind me, just, flapping away, and eagle swooping in, coming in to, with his little fucking beak, with his large beak, because he's a large, he'll come in because he's a large eagle, dude. He'll see me chugging my beer, my cool beer that I'm using to just rid myself of all this heat, because I've been busy working on this bike/car bike. It's a combo of both. You've not seen this shit. Got 3 wheels, son. 3 wheels. Okay, fine, 2 wheels, because 3 wheels is lame. But like 2 cool wheels, dude, and I'm working on this bike, fucking turning the wrench, dude. There's sweat all over my skin. Wife beater on, tight jeans, mismatched boots, American flag in the background. Sun is setting. The eagle is coming in to land, son. But not to land and like stay and chill with us, although it happens to be my pet, but it's also my spirit animal, because in times of extreme danger, let's say, he comes in and we become one. I become one with the eagle. Street Fighter. singular for now, but I'm down to making it plural. Street fighters, plural. There could be a bunch of us, men and women's, with all sorts of things that we'd like to tackle. Point is, I'm working on these cars and bikes, right? And it sees me sipping on my beer, and I'm almost done with my beer, right? And it swoops in, and ooh, flippity flop, and hands me, pops open a little can of beer, another bottle of beer, just spits out the cap, right there, hands me the beer, flies right off. Why? Because with them eagle eyes, you noticed that I was almost done with my beer, and I continued to just turn the wrench on my bike so that I can get on the bike with my leather. I'm not wearing any leather. I had jeans, and I could have a leather jacket. I could have a leather jacket with a eagle stitched on the back, so that once the eagle fucking comes in and we become one, dude, it is eagle time. And I'm a street fighter out there getting the, I'm the type of street fighter that'll see a vending machine, a Coca-Cola vending machine, and I'll just I'll go there and I'll kick it nice and firm, and I'll get myself a free Coke, and I'll, bunch of hooligans in your neighborhood, we're gonna have a stern talk, sir. We're gonna sit down and get to the bottom of this. Where were your parents? Oh man, single parent household, no parents for you at all? Oh man, that's a rough upbringing, isn't it? I could see why you're, going out there doing all the stuff that you're doing, but nonetheless, I'd have that talk. And if we were able to make some sort of a bridge where we could walk across and hold hands for not too long, because that'd be weird, but long enough to establish trust, community, friendship, love, we get along just fine. But if I can't turn it around, then it's about to get dirty, because the street fighter is fucking ready to bounce, dude. Ready to fucking eagle soup. I'll turn into the eagle, dude. I will turn into the eagle and just fucking stop it. God, that is a street fighter. I could see it now. Anyway, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you like to support this street fighter and other street fighters and other dreamers, go ahead and check out patreon.com/RobSadri. Otherwise, check out Instagram, talk about it, follow me there if you like, and subscribe on YouTube for the full-length videos, because you like full-length videos, don't you? I know you do. Beautiful, sexy ma lovers and paw lovers out there, but also it's just regular lovers as well. You don't have to be that's just a figure of speech. I hope you're not how does he know? We've got whatever. I'm not judging anyone's situation, but also talk about it, talk about different things, talk about these videos, pass around like hotcakes and free drugs, and let's together legalize weed, mushrooms, and because I'm gonna be traveling to places where there might be some, I don't know how it goes, but at the end of the day, if you want to see these, if you want the street fighter to be out on the streets thriving, you go ahead and legalize a bunch of stuff soon, too, fast, real quick. Get on that shit, and then subscribe, follow me on YouTube, check out patreon.com/RobSadri. I'll be back here again on Wednesday. I love you guys. Go get it out there, kick butt, have fun, keep on 60-90 until the wheels come off, baby boys, baby girls. Peace out.